I'm Adam Eli, and I'm with Voices for Chechnya.
I'm Lyosha. I'm co-president of Rus LGBT, Russian-speaking LGBTQ American Association.
A big part of my education and family life was discussions around anti-Semitism and the Holocaust. When I heard that people were being rounded up and murdered for who they were, a sort of like internal trigger in my consciousness went off, and I knew that it was time to act. I had been told all of my life, never again, and here we were.
In March 2017, the very disturbing news broke. Then people were detained and they were put in the cell in abandoned places and tortured by electric shock, tortured by some kind of fire, and with all of these, medieval instruments, and some of them managed to escape, and they gave testimony secretly, anonymously to their friends who are still here in New York. So that's why we started receiving a lot of news about what's going on.
The bedrock of my activism is the idea that people do care and people want to show up, they just don't always know how. As an activist, it's our job to figure out really easily accessible ways for people to contribute and then spread that word on social media. When the news was coming out about Chechnya, everyone I knew was devastated. They were all posting and freaking out and asking me what to do, but there was no concrete action. But I believed in my heart that if we gave people a concrete action, they would show up and they would do it. So that's where the idea of the march was birthed from.
And the basic goal is to demand American government to open up the gate and provide those people who escaped from Chechnya to let into the United States with humanitarian parole visas. In addition to demand humanitarian visas, we are trying to raise money to create a resettlement fund, because a lot of people who come from former Soviet Union countries, they're struggling, they're literally starving, and they have no place to go. We have to just educate people and let them know you're not alone.
I came up with the idea for the march, and then the group really birthed itself. We had a planning meeting, and a group was just sort of formed, because in order to have the march, we needed a few things. We needed a website, we needed a mission statement, and we needed a social media presence. And those are also the same keystones that you need for a group. So it just sort of happened. And I think it happened because everyone that showed up came in barreling through the door with so much enthusiasm and so much excitement and so many resources that they were willing to yield and use, that how could we not start a group with all the magic that we had?
Let's organize. And this group, particular Voices for Chechnya, it's a real example how people can stand together facing some challenges, even though they're not directly connected to Chechen people, but they are outraged because they see what's going on in their country. So people's power is the most outrageous power in the world.
Is a way of saying to queer immigrants that we're here and we love you. After the march on October 14th, we will continue to use direct action activism to fight for the liberty and dignity of LGBTQ people all around the world.